Morning guys. So this is a belated video, and apologies for the people that have already seen the listing on eBay, because I've changed it once, and I'm going to unfortunately have to change the listing again. The saw kind of tricked me and caught me out the other day. It's a friend's saw and I'd never run it, and when I came to start the saw it just would not start. Then when I checked for the spark, there was no spark, and so I've changed the listing back to non-running. Then I've had an investigation around the saw to check, because the saw's in beautiful condition, and I noticed there's some damage on the end of the flywheel, and so I've relisted it in that fashion. Then after speaking to my friend again, he said, look, the saw's definitely working. So I thought, well, what have I touched? And in checking for the spark, I pulled the cap off, and because of the proximity and how tight they are, I tugged the cap, and unfortunately I pulled the little spring spark plug clip slightly loose on this cord, and as it turned out, it wasn't it was constantly shorting on the ignition switch. So I put some contact cleaner on the switch, and then I found the spark plug cap. So they were the two things that caught me out. It's funny, when you get a stacked problem on a saw which hasn't run for a very long time, it can be deceptive if two things are linked on the same subject, in this case the ignition. Anyway, so enough babbling. They're beautiful saws, 1969 to into the 70s, and this one's running a 15-inch solid nose bar. It's running a Sabre branded chain. It's the Lightning 1. So 68.8 cc engine and all metal housing, and they're just beautiful saws, and they're very loud. So I've never cut with this saw, and it's just been one literally on display. I've not run it obviously until the other day, or until yesterday. Bit of choke off. Well, it sounds like a racing engine. The Lombards are have a ferocious engine. They're incredible powerhouse saws. I think I've mentioned it on some of my other videos as well. Whereas the Pioneer equivalent would have been a 58cc, Lombard actually made these into 68cc saws, and so they're very, very powerful. Right, to do it justice, I'm going to take off a couple of the side covers just to show people a walk around of the saw very quickly, and then people have a very good overview of exactly what the condition of this saw is. It really is in beautiful, beautiful condition. And although it's not necessary to take all the covers off, I think it's nice to be transparent, for people to be able to look and think, okay, I can see exactly what I'm buying. There's no hidden surprises, there's no parts missing. You can see everything, warts and all, so to speak. And as with all the saws I've sold, I'll try to highlight anything prudent I see on the saws so that people can make an informed decision. Okay, let's get the saw up. So, both guide plates are present. It's running a solid nose Canadian 15-inch bar, which looks in very good condition. Obviously I've not cut with this saw. This saw hasn't been used for cutting wood for a very, very long time. Not sure how many years. It's just literally been hanging in my collection. Beautiful felling spike, great condition. Side cover, unusual to find, with no apparent damage or cracks. I say that, and then I noticed then a very tiny crack in the very top corner. Okay, so a tiny crack. Very clean engine. What I also love to see is the original overspray of the paint from the factory, where these have been assembled, and then you can just see how they've kind of been sprayed over. So there's the mesh filter element, which has got the wire gauze left, but the felt has come away with time. The original lid, cork gasket, and then the pull start housing. The devil of the kill switch, it gave me no end of trouble. So, original serial number and tag. No brakes on the housing as far as I can see. And then lastly down to the flywheel, which again is in amazing condition. I mean, it's beautiful condition. And the coil, little brass manual oil plunger working really well. And then you can see the little baby copper pipes which feed the manual oiling system, all working well. And if I can focus in, you can see the end of the thread on the flywheel is damaged. The nut's obviously on and it's obviously done up, but the very end of that, of the crank rod, has some thread damage. So that's really important to be aware of that. Both starter pulls are intact, as is the shroud to stop any muck getting into the fins. All the flywheel fins are present. Come around the front. No damage on the fuel tank. The original fuel cap. Felling spike on the other side of the chain bar. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Sorry for the confusion over the listing. Everything on the handle, by the way, plunger, throttle lock, choke, all working really well. Engine's got great compression, absolutely fantastic compression, ferocious kickback. Just a beautiful, beautiful old vintage saw. So it's up for spares or repair, and if you've seen the listing with me saying that it's not working, apologies for the confusion, but those two electrical problems did have me thinking the worst. But as it turns out, it was nothing more than me pulling the spark plug cap on an old HT lead and a funny kill switch. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Any questions, let me know. Anybody wants to come out and see the saw, be great to see you and you're more than welcome. Bye for now.